And what do I actually need the chair of the hospital board to commit to? He needs to commit to having my back. Not just a nod. Before this, would look at a room of leaders and give my presentation and sell ice to Eskimos, and everyone would nod. And I would believe when I left the room that I had their support. That is absolutely not the case. There are people who belong to that committee who aren't present. And there are people who are nodding because the chair at the head of the table is nodding. And so beginning to recognize that and knowing that you actually have to ask for what you need. And sometimes you do that in the meeting. And I would never do that in a board meeting anymore. I would go meet with each individual person and then I would take it to the board meeting. So it's the meetings before the meetings that are absolutely crucial. And I think without these things and without understanding your own personal capability and what you need from people, when you need it from people, and what things may play into it for different members of your team, these are some of the biggest stumbling blocks where projects can fail before you even say go. So we're going to take just a second and borrow from the Harvard Business Review in February 2005. Melody Wilding presented a 5-step guide for understanding which decision makers you really need to win over. And I really, really, really wish I had had this in 2018, 2020. It would have changed the way I approached the entire project. So it involves thinking through who our stakeholders are, and we made a list. And then how much influence do they have? If they don't have a lot of influence over the outcome of your project, that's one set of activities. If they have a ton of influence, they have veto power. That's a different set of activities that you have to do before your project starts and throughout the entire project. That's the piece that I didn't do. I thought I had buy-in up front, and I think I did, but then I did not keep people informed throughout the lifetime of the entire project, other than my quarterly updates that I was supposed to do at the board meeting. And then I forgot that not everybody attends those, and I didn't ever circle back with the other members of that group. And then how much interest do they actually have? So someone can have a high degree of interest and veto power. That's someone you need to meet with regularly, manage closely. Or they may have a high degree of interest and not care at all. So I was doing most of the work on med surg floors. So there was a anesthesiologist from the ICU who was very interested in this in the ICU, but not on the floor. So he had low level of interest. So I might just need to keep him satisfied or her satisfied. But to do that, I needed to know what would make them satisfied.